Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Joyce the Art Baby, and today I just wanted to fill a page of my sketchbook with gouache. And for today's exercise, I decided to do an origami painting. The reason why I've been wanting to do this exercise is because I have seen a lot of pictures of origami and I have realized that they are like the perfect thing to try to push me to learn light and shadow. And I've been trying to do this with all of these little paintings, trying to figure out how to make a clean gradient of a color. Since most origami is made with a sheet of paper that is only one color, it's very useful to be able to see how the folds create this warm versus cool and light and versus darkness. And I felt like it was really important to be able to also see the gradient, because it's exactly when the shadow meets the fold that you can kind of see the figure. So I found it very compelling. So for this painting, I just decided to just kind of like block the colors from like the little drawings that I had behind, and because it was so little, I realized that I was having a lot of trouble, and I also had a lot of problems with the binder of this particular paints. Since I've been using HIMI gouache, I realized that it's way better than what I was using before, but it still has its limitations. And what I have heard of a lot of people saying is that most of the time when you have not a professional grade gouache, when it has more binder than pigment, you can totally tell. And for this painting, I really struggle placing the colors and mixing, and especially I was not using a lot of paint, and I feel like that's one of the things that I do struggle a lot. I don't mix a lot of paint, I use as little as possible, and for this I felt like I needed to use a little bit more. But as soon as I was letting the paints dry, I was able to go back and work a little bit more on top of the paints, since sometimes it's really hard to be able to paint on top of gouache since it reactivates. So when I was using a lot of the technique of letting it dry and then going back and painting a little bit more, and then I found that just like going back and with the same color, just like going over the lines and kind of like do more like a paint by number type thing, and then letting it dry and then going back to work in it really was fun, and I really enjoyed that part of the process. One of the things that I wanted to get better when I was doing this painting in this sketchbook is that I wanted to be able to get the gradient of one color to another. And I feel like in some way I realized that I need a lot of space to be able to mix the colors. I don't think I did a really good job in like this painting necessarily, but I realized that I need a better way of doing it, like a better process. When I went back and the whole painting was dry and I just went back to it and I just painted a little bit more, I was doing that. I cleaned up all my big palette that I had. I cleaned it all off so I could be able to make the gradient, and that helped a lot to be able to do a whole mixing space for a specific color when it's going from one color to another, and not do a lot of the mixing the paints in the paper. I realized that helped a lot. But I needed to be able to experience that, to be able to learn it. So I'm so glad. And one of the things that I realized, that out of all of the paintings, the ones that I did struggle the most were the green paints. So I think I just need to be more careful on the way that I use the green and yellow. I feel like I do not completely know how to balance the yellow and the blue, because I also would add blue to my greens, and I feel like that was where I had a lot of the trouble. And also, I really like the panda that I didn't even touch it again when I went back after a couple of days that I tried, but I did enjoy trying to make the bird with white paper. It was a struggle, but I enjoyed just playing with it, because I didn't like how it had ended at the beginning of the day. I was like, I just want to change it, so I added blue, but I feel like I need to still work on white I don't know how to explain it, like white paint on top of a white paper. I don't know how to make it distinct and how to make it gradient, and because pure white is not interesting in a painting, it's not compelling in a painting, but if you add other colors, then it looks more like that. So I think the white, it will be in comparison to other colors, but for this exercise it was kind of hard to be able to make it pop and make it look like it was a form. So I think I need to work on working with the color white and knowing how to use it, because it has to grab your attention, it has to grab your eye, and it did not do that for me, and I just didn't know what to do. And I think for that I just need to do more of like this little exercise trying to get the gradient. But I did enjoy the last day that I did this. I felt like I was more confident. Things were dry, so I was able to just do another layer on top where I could just be more confident in my brush strokes, knowing that I was not going to pick up the pigment and change the color that I had already mixed for that, and I could have cleaner lines. So overall, I really enjoy this experience of being able to just use this little exercise to have fun and to learn a little bit more about gouache and how to use these pigments. I hope you like it and come back for another video. Bye!